Welcome to my virtual classroom. Again, this is Teacher Joy. Please do not forget to click subscribe to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss another set of lesson about homeroom guidance entitled The Better Me. Okay, so this module is designed to help you to know more about self-discipline and the ways to be a good citizen. It also presents your right as a child and the rights of the people around you. This aims to improve the way you deal with others at home and in your community. So in here, you will also learn how to interact with others and know the limitations of your rights. So please keep watching, listen attentively, enjoy learning and doing your activities even in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. So let's just review the 6 interactive activities for you to follow and as your guide as you are answering your module. 1 is let's try this. So this activity will help you to get learned and ready to learn. 2, let's explore this. So this activity will guide you towards what you need to learn. 3rd, keep in mind this activity will give you the lesson that you need to learn and understand. 4th, you can do it. So this will help you apply the lesson learned in daily activities. 5th, what I have learned. So this activity will test and evaluate your learning. And the last one is share your thoughts and feelings. This activity will help you express your thoughts, opinions, and your feelings. So make sure to read, think, follow, and enjoy every task, every activity that you are asked to do this morning. So I'm going to present to you the objectives of our discussion today. So these are our learning objectives. At the end of the session, the students are expected to be able to discuss self-discipline and child's right, including its limitation. 2nd, demonstrate ways on how to develop self-discipline that affects your immediate community. And 3rd, show ways on managing personal changes towards self-appreciation. But before we go further, please bring out your notebook, pencil or ball pen, bond papers, or a piece of paper. So have you ever felt the urge of doing a lot of things on your way but ended up considering its repercussion and negative impact? Then suddenly you found yourself following instructions because that's the systematic way of doing things. We all have our impulses and sometimes we have the tendency to just follow what we feel without even thinking if it will place us in a regretful situation. It takes certain control and mindfulness to catch ourselves doing irrational things. So our self-control will save us from suffering those consequences of our impulsive actions and eventually contribute in our maturity as an individual. So you also need to this factor in your habits as a good citizen, which include the practice of your rights. And in this way, you can expand your understanding on how you can gain self-control and on how you can improve yourself. So this module allows you to provide you the structure in understanding self-discipline and habits of a good citizen, including your rights as a child. So let's start. So look at my screen there. Okay, so it says there, let's do it. So get a piece of paper and a pen Okay, the one that I have told you to prepare beforehand. Doodle for a minute without thinking. Just feel free to do it in whatever direction. After a minute, try to draw a square, rectangle, circle, and triangle at the back of the paper. And of course, do not forget to answer the processing questions there below. There are three processing questions given. One is, how do you compare the two activities? Second, what did you feel when you were doodling and drawing figures? Third, between the two activities, what needs certain control or discipline? Why do you think so? So those are three processing questions that you need to answer. Next, our next activity is let's explore this. Okay. Make an illustration. So the direction is make an illustration of your previous experience where you think you lack self-discipline that caused you a negative effect. So you can use symbols, lines, and arrows to do the activity. Okay, on a piece of paper. Then write an explanation following, of course, the processing questions. Three processing questions. First question is, why did you consider it an experience that lacks self-discipline? Second, what could have been the outcome if you had self-discipline at that time? So why do you think so? Third, did it change anything to you as a person? Okay, you have to explain it further. And then the next activity that we have is keep in mind. So please listen. Nobody's perfect, as the saying goes. Yes, we are all capable of committing mistakes. We have our ugly moments. So despite those unpleasant experiences in the past, we learn new things and eventually make these as our markers of improvement. It takes certain maturity and openness to develop self-discipline. You need it not because your parents or teachers said so, but because it is for your own good. Self-discipline is the ability to take control of yourself, particularly your behavior, emotions, and impulses from committing thoughtfulness and irrational behavior. That usually results in unpleasant and negative experiences. It takes time and process to develop self-discipline. It requires awareness to fully understand how it works. So before you achieve it, it is important that you have a deeper understanding of yourself and the situations around you. You need to be mindful of the triggers of your lack of self-discipline. For instance, if you know that you cannot resist chatting with your friends on social media while doing the school tasks, then you might want to log out or switch off your videos, your devices, so you can focus. If you think that you cannot bear a certain situation and might lose your temper, you may consider avoiding it. So try to imagine your life without self-discipline, my dear student. It prevents you from making the same mistakes. So discipline gives you control over your life. So I repeat, discipline gives you control over your life. As part of having self-discipline, it is important that you know the habits of a good citizen and the children's right. It can serve as a guide in your development of self-discipline. So as you can see in my screen, there are many good habits that impact your immediate community. The following are just some of them. So first, follow the policies set by community and government. Second, try to find ways on how you can help others in your own capacity. Third, always be respectful and considerate to others. Be responsible and accountable to your actions and decisions. Preserve and protect nature. Be part of the solution, not the problem. And the last one, decide based on data and logic. One of the ways to be a good citizen is to respect the rights of others. Do you know your rights as a child and as a citizen of the Philippines? Rights are entitlement which everyone should claim and hold. So every person has these rights simply because they are human beings. Human rights are the same for all human beings, regardless of their sex, race, color, language, national origin, age, class, religion, or political beliefs, existing capabilities and capacities. Human rights cannot be taken away. They give people the freedom to choose how they live and how they express themselves. They also guarantee people the means necessary to satisfy their needs such as food, housing, and education. Moreover, human rights protect people against abuse. Okay? Children's are human rights. The enjoyment of violation of human rights of parents and people in the community affects children's enjoyment of their own rights. Now, here are the rights of the child according to Presidential Decree 603 or the Child and Youth Welfare Code. 1. Every child is endowed with dignity and worth of human being from the moment of his conception, as generally accepted in medical parlance, and has therefore the right to be born well. 2. Every child has the right to a wholesome family life that will provide him with love, care, and understanding, guidance and counseling, and moral and material security. Third, every child has the right to a well-rounded development of his or her personality, to the end that he may become a happy, useful, and active member of the society. Every child has the right to a balanced diet, adequate clothing, sufficient shelter, proper medical attention, and all the basic physical requirements of a healthy and vigorous life. Every child has the right to be brought up in an atmosphere of morality and rectitude for the enrichment and the strengthening of his or her character. Every child has the right to an education commensurate with his ability and to the development of his skills for the improvement of his capacity for service to himself and to his fellow men. Every child has the right to full opportunities for safe and wholesome recreation and activities, individual as well as social, for the wholesome use of his leisure hours. Every child has the right to protection against exploitation, improper influences, hazards, and other conditions or circumstances prejudicial to his physical, mental, emotional, social, and moral development. Every child has the right to live in a community and a society that can offer him an environment free from pernicious influences and conducive to the promotion of his health and the cultivation of his desirable traits and attitudes. Every child has the right to the care, assistance, and protection of the state, particularly when his parents or guardians fail or are unable to provide him with his fundamental needs for growth, development, and improvement. Every child has the right to an efficient and honest government that will deepen his faith in democracy and inspire him with the morality of the constitute constituent authorities both in their public and private lives. Every child has the right to grow up as a free individual in an atmosphere of peace, understanding, tolerance, and universal brotherhood, and with the determination to contribute his share in the building of a better world. So those are the rights of the child. Okay, those are 12 rights of the child according to Presidential Decree 603, or the Child and the Youth Welfare Code. So human rights have limitations. The 1987 Philippine Constitution has an article about the Bill of Rights, specifically Article 3. So these rights are not entirely set in stone, and a person's human rights can sometimes be limited. Example, the freedom of speech is limited by the libel law, bullying, and cyberbullying law. Another example, the right of people to gather is limited by other laws on peace and public order. Another example is the right to freedom of expression is limited by the law against slander. Another one is the right to freedom is limited if you are accused of a criminal act. And now, we are now going to proceed with our next activity. Our next activity is entitled You Can Do It. So, the direction, try to choose 2 good habits which you can relate to yourself and explain how they will help to improve your self-discipline. Then choose rights that can serve as your reminder to always practice self-discipline. So cite an example situation for each right. So the one that I have discussed a while ago. Next activity, what I have learned. So, how are self-discipline, good habits, and children's rights connected? Do they affect one another? Make a simple symbol to show this and write your explanation below in a piece of paper. So that is your activity. And then the last activity, share your thoughts and feelings. Okay. So think of 2 situations, okay? Think of 2 situations where you always feel that it is hard for you to have self-discipline. So it may be a situation that happens frequently to you. For example, not doing your schoolwork on time. Then try to analyze what causes it. So on the next part, write the results, and then of course follow the table below and write your answer on a clean sheet of paper. So look at your module, so scan, read before answering all those activities. So that is all for now. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for listening and watching to my virtual classroom. Again, please do not forget to click subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Teacher Joy. Again, thank you and God bless you all.